Whitney Houston, it's on your hands. You brag about all these phone calls recorded. You brag about how Snoop you.
Suge Knight just blew the lid off a decades-old conspiracy, claiming Snoop Dogg set up Tupac's unalivement and Ray J played a role in Whitney Houston's death. But is he exposing the truth or just rewriting history from behind bars?
Snoop was involved in hip-hop.
And what about Ray J? Why was he the last person seen with Whitney before she died? Was it just bad timing, or did he have something to do with her tragic final hours?
He just used the term that Brandy's little brother bringing me drugs and doing drugs with me.
Then there's 2Pac, who was beefing with Snoop Dogg right before he was. Did Snoop really betray him, or is Suge deflecting blame?
You listen to Snoop on the radio. Snoop is, saying that.
Too many coincidences, too many unanswered questions. Suge just called out two of the biggest names in the industry, and we're about to break it all down. Suge Knight just made some wild claims from behind bars, and they're shaking things up. According to him, Ray J played a shady role in Whitney Houston's final days. Suge says Ray J wasn't just hanging around. He was allegedly supplying drugs to Whitney and doing them with her. Even worse, Suge claims Whitney was scared of Ray J before she died. He says she didn't even call him by name, just referred to him as Brandy's little brother.
Brandy's little brother trying to kiss me and do drugs with me. Next thing you know, she's dead.
But that's not all. Suge took things even further by making an explosive claim about Snoop Dogg. He says Snoop was directly involved in the setup that got 2Pac.
I'm not even going to go there and get on Snoop's situation. He says everybody know how tight he is.
Suge says Ray J himself once admitted that Snoop put a price on 2Pac's head. That's right, the same Ray J who's been tight with Diddy, Clive Davis, and Hollywood's elite may have spilled the biggest secret of them all. So, is there any truth to what Suge is saying? And why is he choosing now to speak out? Let's rewind and break it all down. We already know Tupac and Snoop weren't exactly best friends before Pac's unalivement, but Suge is adding new details about just how bad things really were between them. According to Suge, Tupac was furious after hearing Snoop on the radio saying he'd still work with Biggie and Puffy. This happened right after the 1996 MTV Video Music Awards, just days before Tupac was shot in Vegas.
We listen to Snoop on the radio. Snoop is,
The next morning, Tupac confronted Snoop about it, and Suge had to step in to keep things from getting worse. But the tension was already at a boiling point. Snoop was reportedly so scared for his life that he brought weapons on the flight home. And now, Suge is saying Snoop didn't just fear for his own safety. He allegedly played a part in putting a hit on 2Pac. But this isn't the first time Suge has hinted at Snoop's involvement in Pac's death. A few years ago, Suge spoke about how he wanted to have a face-to-face conversation with Snoop because, in his words, Snoop had a lot of explaining to do.
Really gotta have a real conversation with Snoop.
Suge also pointed out that Tupac and Snoop were once close. Tupac even helped elevate Snoop's career by featuring him on All Eyez On Me. But according to Suge, that friendship didn't mean much in the end. He went on to say that Snoop knew something was about to happen in Vegas. Allegedly, Snoop even warned Daz Dillinger not to go to Vegas with the rest of the Death Row crew on the night Tupac was shot. If Suge is telling the truth, this could change everything we thought we knew about Tupac's unalivement.
Daz was on a situation saying that Snoop told him they can't go to the fight, can't go to the club, can't.
You see, in a 2017 interview with Vlad TV, Daz spoke about this incident saying,
"No, we heard about it because they was trying to get us to go to Vegas. And we was like, dog pound, we was..."
Badass confirmed Suge's claims in another interview from a while back where he said,
"Ain't going. Like, why would you want to roll? Why, we don't roll like that. You roll with Death Row when the homies roll."
Additionally, Suge claimed that Daz and Snoop Dogg recorded a song with one of the men who allegedly plotted to unalive 2Pac. Snoop, Daz, and the rest of them, they did a song with one of the ends from that side who was in the car, he said. If that's loyalty to Pac, ish MFs don't need that type of loyalty. When asked who they did the song with, Suge Knight named DeAndre Big Dre Smith, who was allegedly one of 4 men in the car from which the deadly 1996 drive-by shooting was carried out. Authorities believe the other men in the car that night were Orlando Baby Lane Anderson, his uncle Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, and Terrence Bubble Up Brown. Davis, the only living suspect in the case, was charged with 2Pac's M earlier this year. The person who did the compilation was that Dre, or whatever his name is. Suge said, well, you know he ain't here, but that's that. But like I said before, if Keefe D telling the truth, all the other ish makes sense. What's more, Suge Knight claimed, Warren G., who had invited Snoop to his LA home at the time of the shooting, claimed that the rapper was equipped with a long-distance radio-like device that functioned almost like a cell phone. This device, as Suge claims, became the conduit through which Snoop received live updates about 2Pac's shooting and subsequent demise in Las Vegas.
Warren did a thing where he was on a talking, whatever was shit they.
For context, Warren G., a close associate of Snoop Dogg, recounted how Snoop had initially planned to accompany Tupac and Death Row Records founder Suge Knight to Las Vegas for the Tyson vs. Selden fight. In a twist of fate, Snoop altered his plans and accepted Warren G.'s invitation to watch the fight at his Los Angeles residence. Warren G., reflecting on the unexpected turn of events, shared, "The cold ish about it is I had called Snoop. At that time, I was single. I had a house to myself. I was like, I'm a bachelor. What's up, Snoop? Come over. I'm here watching the fight. I'm invite a gang of people over. We gonna barbecue." Warren G. didn't expect Snoop Dogg to show up that night. At first, Snoop had turned down the invite, so Warren was surprised when he suddenly heard a car horn outside his house. When he looked, there was Snoop, pulling up in a white Rolls-Royce with a peanut butter-colored interior. Instead of heading to Vegas, Snoop had a change of heart and decided to kick it with Warren. They spent the night barbecuing, hanging out, and watching the fight. Snoop even let Warren take the Rolls for a spin. Warren G. later recalled the moment, saying, "He pulled up and surprised me. He came and hung out, let me drive that MF, and we were just chilling, barbecuing, having fun, and the fight was coming on. He chose to kick it with me instead of going to Vegas." As they were caught up in the excitement of the Tyson vs. Selden fight, Snoop had his Nextel with him, a device that could connect calls from Vegas to LA. Out of nowhere, he started getting messages. The vibe changed instantly. Right there, in the middle of all the fun, Snoop got the devastating news. Tupac had been shot. Warren G. vividly remembered the moment, stating,
He had this, the Nextel back then. Remember the motherfucker? Yeah. He had the go that whatever.
The use of a long-distance radio by Snoop Dogg on the night of Tupac's shooting is a perplexing anomaly. The possession of such a tool raises critical questions about Snoop's knowledge of the unfolding tragedy and challenges the conventional understanding of the night Tupac was shot. Suge Knight dismissed the possibility of anyone, apart from the Death Row security team, having access to the radios described by Warren G.
Only way you would have a radio if you was at the fight with us and you had a security detail. Now, not having a security detail, what are you doing with the radio?
By saying this, Suge implies that Snoop was probably using the radio to get information from a source closer to the heart of the incident. What's more, Knight also said that Snoop never visited 2Pac in hospital after his shooting, despite the Dogfather saying multiple times that he saw Pac before he died.
He said Snoop kicked him out, then he came to the hospital. Snoop never came to the hospital, period.
Now let's talk about Ray J. According to Suge, Ray J wasn't just hanging around Whitney Houston. He played a direct role in what happened to her. For years, people have speculated about Ray J's connection to Clive Davis, the powerful music mogul who was reportedly at the Beverly Hilton the night Whitney died. Some even believe Ray J was sent to keep Whitney in line, or worse, and his behavior after her death only made things more suspicious. Singer Jaguar Wright even claimed that Ray J was the last person to see Whitney alive, and that he was the one who allegedly let the dealer into her room to drug her.
Ray J was the last person to see her alive. He let the drug dealer in, but she was sober, right?
She went on to say that Whitney had been beaten up before her death.
Viola has said, Viola Brown, Bobby Brown's sister, has said on several occasions that she was beaten.
Jaguar never directly names who attacked Whitney, but all signs seem to point to Ray J. After it was revealed that Whitney's use contributed to her death, Bobby Brown's sister Leola spoke out. She claimed Ray J had connections to a drug dealer and accused him of supplying Whitney with substances. Leola even said she saw Ray J leaving Whitney's hotel room the night she died. She went on to call him a runner boy for a powerful figure in the industry, suggesting he was the middleman, getting substances from a dealer and bringing them to Whitney. To make things even more suspicious, an old interview resurfaced where Ray J claimed he could make Whitney get sober if he wanted to. Since this was while Whitney was still alive, it makes it seem like he had some control over her. And if that wasn't bad enough, in that same interview, Ray J also admitted he was using Whitney for clout.
Every day I was with her, I was not happy.
Right.
Like, I was not happy.
Right. It was the right thing to do.
And I saw...
At this point, it is clear that Ray J did not care about Whitney and only used her to get his fame. Later on, when Whitney died, Ray J was seen at her funeral grabbing her casket and faking tears for fame, and to catapult his career. In 2017, Ray expressed his regrets about what happened to Whitney and even confessed that he was to blame. Speaking to singer Stacey Francis during season of Celebrity Big Brother, Ray brought up the events from 2012, saying, "Stacey and we had a conversation about what happened with Whitney Houston before she passed. I never talk about it, but it was something I felt she wanted to talk about, and it was the right time, so we talked briefly about it, and I told them how I felt, how I blame myself on a lot of stuff." Ray also insisted that although several media outlets offered him millions to reveal secrets of the music icon's death, he turned down every single proposal. He said, "I had so many people calling me offering millions of dollars to have an interview. I was like, I don't need the money. It's not good money. That's just not right. My karma would be bad." Ray J and Whitney Houston had a well-known and often speculated about relationship that has captured the public's attention for years. Whitney Houston was already an established superstar by the time she met Ray J in the early 2000s. On the other hand, Ray was a young up-and-comer when he first met Houston. He had already begun his career as an actor, appearing on shows like The Sinbad Show and Moshe, and had just released his debut album, Everything You Want, in 1997. At the time, he was still a teenager, and he quickly became enamored with Houston's talent and presence. It's not entirely clear how the two met, but they quickly became close friends. They were often seen together at events and parties, and Ray J even appeared on Houston's reality show, Being Bobby Brown, in 2005. The show, which followed Houston and her then-husband Bobby Brown as they went about their daily lives, gave viewers a glimpse into the couple's tumultuous relationship, but it also showcased Houston's affection for Ray J. As the years went on, rumors began to swirl that Ray J and Houston's relationship was more than just platonic. Some sources claimed that they had been romantically involved, while others insisted that they were simply close friends. Despite the speculation, neither Ray J nor Houston ever confirmed or denied the rumors. After Whitney died in 2012, Ray J was reportedly devastated by the loss, and in interviews following her death, he spoke candidly about their relationship, describing her as a mentor and a friend.
"I really miss my friend. You know, I really do. I'm still hurting."
Clive Davis doesn't exactly give off innocent vibes either. He was the mastermind behind Whitney Houston's big comeback in 2009 after years of struggling with addiction and a messy divorce. Her album, I Look to You, dropped that year, selling 304,000 copies in its first week, her biggest debut ever. Clive was all about hyping her up, saying, "She tumbled, but she didn't crumble." He even pointed to the song I Didn't Know My Own Strength as proof that Whitney was still standing strong. But behind the scenes, things weren't so simple. Whitney's voice had taken a serious hit from years of drug use, and she never released another album after that. This was a huge disappointment for Clive, but that didn't stop him from pushing forward. Despite Whitney's struggles, Clive never seemed to lose faith, or at least that's what he wanted people to believe. But was it really about Whitney, or was it about the money she was still bringing in? It's hard not to wonder if his hope was more about keeping the cash flowing than truly caring about her well-being. Because let's be real, Clive's actions didn't always match his words. Whitney passed away on February 11th, 2012, just one day before the Grammy Awards and only hours before she was supposed to attend Clive's annual pre-Grammy party. Fans around the world were heartbroken, mourning the loss of a true legend. But Clive? He went ahead with his party anyway. While Whitney's body remained inside the Beverly Hilton Hotel until almost 1 a.m., Clive still hosted his event, turning it into a tribute instead of canceling. Some saw this as a way to honor her, while others felt it was completely disrespectful. At the start of the party, he shared a few words about Whitney, but the celebration continued like nothing had happened.
By now, sadly, you've all learned of the unspeakably tragic.
The Grammy Award winner continued, "I am personally devastated by the loss of someone who has meant so much to me for so many years. Whitney was so full of life. She was so looking forward to tonight, even though she wasn't scheduled to perform. Whitney was a beautiful person and a talent beyond compare. She graced this stage with her regal presence and gave so many memorable performances here over the years. Simply put, Whitney would have wanted the music to go on, and her family asked that we carry on." Whitney Houston's death on the eve of the Grammys in 2012 came as a horrific shock, if not entirely without warning. The platinum-selling singer and actress was to attend Clive Davis's annual pre-Grammys bash at the Beverly Hilton that night, but instead, she died in a room upstairs after accidentally drowning in the bathtub. Whitney's death was tragic, but the heartbreak didn't end there. Just 3 years later, Whitney's daughter, Bobby Christina Brown, was found unresponsive in a bathtub, eerily similar to the way her mother died. Bobby Christina was in a coma for 6 months before she eventually passed away. Her death sparked even more conspiracy theories, particularly from her aunt Leola Brown.
I believe that somebody my niece, just like they her mother.
Leola has long maintained that both Whitney and Bobby Christina were victims of foul play orchestrated by powerful figures who stood to benefit financially from their deaths. According to her, Bobby Christina was targeted because she inherited Whitney's estate and was planning to expose the truth about her mother's death. You see, Bobby Christina Brown, who was born in 1993, was the daughter of two music icons, Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown. Whitney and Bobby Brown met in 1989 and married 3 years later. While fans often assume it was Bobby who led Whitney into a dark place, the I Will Always Love You singer herself revealed that she had a part in her substance demise. Although Whitney was a star, her substance AB led to missteps along the way. As Vanity Fair noted, she often arrived late to appearances and occasionally lost gigs. In 2009, she opened up to Oprah Winfrey about her substance addiction. She had been to rehab twice at that point, once in 2004 and again in 2005, and would give sobriety another shot in 2011.
Sitting there and you just watch TV and you go,
She went on to add, "We weren't buying $20 jumbos. We were paying money. We were buying kilos and ounces. We would have our stash." Whitney Houston, one of the greatest voices of all time, passed away tragically on February 11, 2012. Her death shocked the world, leaving fans and the music industry devastated. While her music lives on, there are still many questions about what really happened in her final moments.
We have concluded the autopsy on Miss Whitney Houston. It was concluded today.
According to the official report, Whitney's death was ruled an accidental drowning, made worse by heart disease and use. The coroner's findings showed she had multiple substances in her system, including marijuana, Xanax, Benadryl, and Flexeril. However, only and its byproducts were considered factors in her death. Craig Harvey, the Los Angeles County Chief Coroner, explained that there was water in Whitney's lungs, meaning she was still alive when she went under. Even though the cocaine levels weren't high enough to be instantly fatal, her long-term use and existing heart problems played a major role.
Sometimes.
always?
Not always, no. Sometimes. That means sometimes.
Ed Winter, the assistant chief coroner, suggested two possible causes. Either she lost consciousness from the drugs, or she had a heart attack before slipping under the water. Whitney's body was found in Suite 434 at the Beverly Hilton Hotel in Beverly Hills. The events leading up to her death happened quickly. Just 40 minutes before she died, she had a normal phone call with her mother, Cissy Houston. Not long after, her assistant found her unresponsive in the bathtub. Since police were already at the hotel for Clive Davis's pre-Grammy party, they arrived quickly. But despite efforts to save her, she was pronounced dead at 3:55 p.m. The news of her passing spread fast, sparking grief from fans and celebrities around the world. Her death was a heartbreaking reminder of the dangers of addiction. Even over a decade later, Whitney Houston's legacy remains untouchable. Her voice, her impact, and her influence are still felt today. But now, Suge Knight's latest claims have shaken up the music industry yet again. If there's any truth to what he's saying, it could expose two of the biggest scandals in music history. That's it for this video, folks. Bye.